The first challenge when we start thinking about our relationship with alcohol, the first challenge is stopping, right? You're going to have a period of time where you are going to be triggered, you are going to experience cravings, you're just going to notice people drinking everywhere. That period of time will pass. It won't always be like that. The real next challenge is to get your arms around the concept of emotional sobriety. And you may have heard me talk about this a lot. Sobriety is 10% not drinking alcohol and 90% emotional sobriety. And that's where your effort needs to go. Sobriety, getting sober is not hard. It does require effort. And the effort needs to go in the emotional sobriety part of things. And I want to explain exactly how to do that and what you need to know. If you're watching this, you've probably got to the point where you use alcohol to manage your mental and emotional health. We've outsourced the management of our emotions to alcohol. We've just not developed or learned, it was never role modeled to us, how to manage all of the difficult emotions that a human being is going to experience in a lifetime. We're frightened of saying no. We're frightened of disappointing people. We don't know how to ask for our needs to be met. If we feel resentful or angry or frustrated or just all the things, our brain just goes to alcohol as a way to fix that. So when you stop drinking, your brain is like, I don't like how we feel. We need to change it. What do? Let me answer that. What you need is the 5 pillars of sobriety. And it's the reason I wrote my book 3 or 4 years ago now, all in here. The 5 pillars of sobriety will get you emotionally sober. And I'm going to break it down and tell you what that looks like. There is also a program below that, as part of the program, has a whole, there's, I think, a 60-minute training video on how to get the 5 pillars of sobriety to work. So if you get that program, you'll be able to see all of that. So the 5 pillars of sobriety are movement, connection, balance, process, and growth. None of these pillars are about tips and tricks to stay away from a drink. Again, you need that in the beginning, maybe the first 90 days or so, but what do you do after that, right? That's when you start working on emotional sobriety. So movement is 2 things. Moving your body, because that is the best way to heal your brain. It is, you're creating time and day to do something positive for your health and your well-being. So making exercise a key part of your program. But it's also, there's another part to movement. It's about being conscious, aware of what you want your life to move towards and what you want your life to move away from. So in your case, moving away from alcohol and hangovers and unhealthiness, moving towards a sober life, health and well-being. And it's not just alcohol that we apply the pillar of movement. Like, for example, I'm 51, the recording of this video. I am very consciously moving towards aging as healthily as I possibly can. Like, I'm aware at 51, I'm making an investment into how I'm going to be at 71 and 81. So it's about bringing your awareness to, like, instead of just sort of drifting and going with the flow and whatever, it's like, where do you want to be in 5 years, 10 years, 15 years? And moving towards that deliberately. So that's the pillar of movement. The second pillar is connection. We need to have meaningful connection with other people so we can have meaningful connection with ourselves. One of the first things I noticed when I stopped drinking was how disconnected I was from myself. I was disconnected from my body. Like, I just didn't listen. I was running on caffeine and sugar and nicotine and alcohol. Like, I couldn't listen to what my body was telling me. I was disconnected from my feelings and emotions, which are your guidance system. And my guidance system was really messed up, needed some rewiring. I was disconnected from the rest of the world. I always felt like I was behind a glass screen and I was one side and everyone else was the other side. So we have to put effort into connection. It won't just happen. I live in a community with a bunch of kids, and there is always someone knocking at the door going and asking for one of my sons to come out and play, and off they go. It's not like that when you're an adult, is it? Nobody's going to come knocking at your door and go, oh, you look really nice. Let's go and have a coffee and get to know each other, right? Loneliness, the reason connection is so important is loneliness will get you drunk faster than anything. So connection is really, really important. And we have to work at that. Now, in order to have connection, we have to understand how to have boundaries, how to communicate, how to ask for our needs to be met. Again, how to do all of that is in the program below. Connection. Balance. Balancing your needs according to your circumstances. The art of balance is a lifelong exercise. When we are out of balance, when we're not getting enough of one thing or too much of another, working too much, not getting enough sleep, not seeing enough of our kids, not eating enough healthy food, not nurturing our spiritual lives, whatever it is, right? When you feel out of balance for too long, you're going to feel uncomfortable in your own skin. When you feel uncomfortable in your own skin, your brain is going to look for an anesthetic. That's why we need to balance our needs. Again, how to do that is in the program below. Process and growth. Process, again, really important. We are all in processes. You are in the process of stopping drinking. I am in the process of long-term sobriety. I am in the process of being a middle-aged woman. I am in the process of raising kids. I'm in the process of perimenopause. So we're all in processes, and our processes will complete and another process will start. Process is understanding why we are the way we are. It's understanding our childhoods that shaped us. It's understanding how we are in relationship. It's about knowing yourself better. And there's I think, I can't remember who it was, but a Greek philosopher says a life lived unexamined is not a life worth living. It's about knowing yourself. And that's a lifelong journey of understanding why we have these processes. Why do I keep getting these same results? All of that stuff, that takes time. And I have like lots of tools and stuff that I teach clients to kind of get that moving along. I call it revealing ourselves to ourselves. That's all it is, revealing ourselves to ourselves, going, oh my God, that's why I am the way that I am. That's why I do that. Oh my gosh, I always have that response when someone says that. Once you have this understanding, you can then change it. You can change the stuff that isn't working for you. Because I'm going to tell you this, it's not about the world changing. It's not about other people changing. It's about you changing. And that's it. Because that's the only thing you have power over. I have no power over anyone else or anything else. The only thing I have power over is myself. The last pillar is growth. It's a universal law of life that we are either growing or we are dying. And if you will look around, you'll see that's true. Plants, animals, people, communities, businesses, everything is either growing or it's dying. When I was drinking alcohol, I felt like I was dying on the inside. Like I walked around and I kind of looked fine and I could, fake it. But inside, my insides were going black. I was just dying on the inside. Lack of connection, loneliness, not being who I really was, just being this really fake person who was scared and insecure. All of that meant I was dying on the inside. And I wonder if you know what that feels like. I wouldn't wish it on anyone. So when I got sober, when you get sober, you have the invitation to grow. And as long as you have breath in your body, all human beings need to grow. And here's the thing about growth. You're going to be called to grow in your personal life, in your professional life, as a parent, as an adult child, as an athlete, as an entrepreneur, it doesn't matter. You will be called to grow beyond where you are now. Now, when we get called to grow, here's the thing. We also meet resistance, because to grow means you have to grow out of what is familiar to you. So we all have this kind of sphere here that's familiar. We know how to do it. Sobriety is over here. It's unfamiliar. So are all the other things that life is calling you to grow. So you're going to have to go through this kind of wall of resistance and fear, which will happen anytime you're called to do anything new. Like, remember the first time you started your job or a college degree or a course or any new thing, right? There's always a kind of like, oh my God, can I do it? Oh, what if it doesn't work out? What if I look stupid, right? That's resistance showing up because you're going through it from a familiar thing to a new thing. It's simply a skill to learn how to navigate through the discomfort and not need anything to take away the feelings of discomfort, that you can sit with the discomfort and survive them. It's going to be okay, because that's the only way you're going to get to the new thing that you want. Again, the program below will teach you how to do all of that. So those are the 5 pillars of sobriety: movement, balance, connection, process, and growth. And those are the structure that will help you become emotionally sober. Now, emotionally sober is not an event, right? You're like a switch is flipped and you're emotionally sober, right? It's a process that you stay active in. It's the same as exercise, right? I could work out and do all the things and blah, blah, blah. And in a few months, I could transform my body and have a 6-pack. I do under here. All of that kind of stuff. But I won't keep it unless I maintain it. It's the same with mental and emotional health. You get it and then you have to maintain it. Now, I'll tell you something. Twice in my sobriety, and at the recording of this video, I've been sober 24 and a half years. Twice I have completely stopped doing all the things that got me to emotional sobriety. And both times that happened after the birth of my children. Exhausted, no help, small children. And I thought it was fine because, I had lots of sobriety under my belt. Like, I was 10 years sober when I had my first child. I kind of was vaguely aware that I needed to take care of my mental and emotional health, but I thought it was fine. After a few months, I just got really, really uncomfortable in my own skin. And I didn't like the way I felt. And everybody just pissed me off. And I realized that I wasn't okay. Now, I wasn't in danger of drinking. Who knows if I'd have kept going where that would have ended up. But as soon as I noticed that I wasn't okay, I did something about it. I took action. And I started just doing the program of emotional sobriety that I've done for 22 years. And it is the gift that keeps on giving. And that's what I want for you. Check out the program below. Let me know what you think. Take care.